Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Well, Heidi, we've got a question from Sylvia today, and she says, my 83-year-old sister died suddenly in a fall.
Wow.
I didn't find her until the next day. Wow. I am overcome with guilt. Can you help me? Well, Sylvia, first of all, our heart goes out to you, losing your sister. And, I don't want to normalize it or make it less, but the reality is one of the number one ways that older people die in accidents and are falls.
Wow.
So it's not unusual for somebody to have a fall, but they can fall outside, they can fall anywhere. It is tough that you found her at home and you're the one that found her after the fall. And a day later, a lot of guilt, right, Heidi?
Absolutely. And I just want to say that like you said, my heart goes out to Sylvia. And I think it's very normal to feel guilty, even when it wasn't Sylvia's fault, even when it's not our fault. Sometimes we feel like we could have done more. We should have done more. We should have known. We should have been there, no matter how old they are. I mean, I remember feeling guilty when Scott died, my brother, and he was 17, that I should have been there. I should have somehow stopped it.
Yeah. So the guilt comes in and totally normal. There's a shame factor too. I remember when your brother got killed, I felt ashamed because I felt that parents should take care of their children, and siblings should take care of their siblings. There's this factor that why did we let it happen?
And I know you've said before, and you just said, and I've heard other parents say they felt like they should have saved their children because they felt like that's what parents do, even though it's not really a rational thought. Because, if love would have saved children and siblings, they'd all be alive today.
That's right. And also with your sister, if love would have saved her, she'd be alive today, because you must have loved her a lot to feel so overcome with this. And losing a sibling at any age is not easy. I've lost a couple of siblings and, to other illnesses, but they're not in your life. But this sudden death is a shock. With a lot of older people, they're going to die, and you connect with them, and we all have to die, and there's some rationale to it. But when you have a sudden loss like this, it doesn't feel like a lot of rationale.
Well, and like you said, Mom, it's hard to lose a sibling at any age. I mean, here's Sylvia's lost her sister who's 83. Well, she's had her in her life for I don't know how long. I don't know what the years are, but I'm guessing over 70 years. That's a long time to be with a sibling in the world. And now she's in a world that she doesn't recognize because it's a world she doesn't know without her sister in it.
Right. And one less person to connect up with. Well, let's talk a little bit to Sylvia about some of the things that she can do. She's feeling probably overwhelmed and shocked. Now, first of all, Sylvia, you reached out to us, which, you're reaching out. And that is an important thing, to let people know how you are feeling so that they know. I think people understand. Now, you're going to find that some people are good grief support and some people aren't. So you do take a little risk sometimes when you try to discuss something or say, my sister died of a fall and I'm feeling guilty. That's a big statement there, isn't it, Heidi?
It is. And the hard part about doing that is society is going to minimize that and say, well, you should not feel guilty. You shouldn't feel that way. And I think that's the hard part. It is very, very normal for siblings to have guilt. I know I don't know any siblings that I've worked with or that I know personally that don't have guilt after their sibling dies. We all have some kind of guilt. We also want to think that the world is a safe and normal and predictable place. And when something out of the ordinary happens, it's scary.
So putting it out there now, also you want to look at your support system. Do you have a big enough support system? And look towards that system.
And do you have the right people in your support system? Maybe some of them should be cleaned out of your support system. Maybe you need to find new people in your support system.
And maybe there are some people who are going to make some lousy comments like, wow, she was 83, it was her time anyway, or give you that impression where you maybe don't want to hang with them for a while, or they may go off your email address.
Anything that starts with at least is not helpful. At least she was older. At least she lived a long life. At least it was quick. Those are not helpful comments. So, like you said, Mom, maybe getting people that are supportive and understanding and have more empathy for the fact that you no longer have your sister in your life. And that's a big deal.
Now, with sudden death, you're not going to have probably in your support system group like hospice or whatever, where they may transition you over into a grief support group after you've had the loss, or even at the hospital when you see somebody who's terminally ill, you have a social worker maybe come in. I know when my son died suddenly, I had no group support system at all. There was no natural thing. When you have something happen that quickly, you're just kind of wow out there in shock. So if you want to talk to some people about it and want to enlarge your support system as far as peer support groups, you might get in touch with your local hospice or hospital and find out what groups they're running.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. And then if you want to do therapy, Heidi, why don't you talk about that a little bit? What would you recommend to Sylvia on that front?
Well, I think you can Google grief therapists and look around and then look at their bios on Psychology Today and see which ones seem like a good fit. Your first session should be finding out if it's a good fit. I think that it might be helpful, especially if you don't have a group of people that will be supportive of you right now. You might be able to find a good therapist that specializes in grief and loss.
Mm-hmm. And I assume you found your sister, so that's got to be a shock in and of itself, just that picture, because our memories are pictures. So if you're having things that are disrupting your activities of daily living, if you can't go to work, or what are some more things, Heidi, that you know?
You avoid any of the places you went with her, or that might trigger you. So you're going out of your way to avoid them. You're not able to invest in relationships. Maybe you have anger that's projected outward at everybody around you. You're not taking care of your health.
Mm-hmm.
You have health problems. I mean, I worked with somebody that sibling died, and he was very, very angry at the way the sibling died, and his gallbladder burst. Mm-hmm. And he ended up in the emergency room because he was harboring so much anger and rage.
So Sylvia, you need to take care of your health, and there's recommendations by some people that you see your doctor. And if you have a doctor, a minister, whoever you have that you can tell your story to that will listen, do it. Because that's one of the things that we find is that the more you tell your story, the more it becomes integrated and the more you can handle it. Well, take care of yourself, Sylvia, and thank you so much for this question, and good luck on this grief journey.
Yes, thank you, Sylvia. Good luck to you, and our heart goes out to you about the death of your sister.
Absolutely. And we all want to remind you guys to come to our site at opentohope.com. We've got thousands of articles. We have 1 million people listening to our podcast, lots going on for you. And it's all tagged for content and to help you to find hope after loss. And Heidi and I always want to remind you that if you have lost hope and are feeling a loss of hope, please lean on ours until you find your own, and God bless.
I'm Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe.
I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.